Ah! Oh, I'm struggling over here. What's up, guys? This is a 2008 Redcat Rampage TT. This was donated to my channel by Jeremy White, one of my Patreon supporters. I appreciate it so much. In the previous video, the live stream 3, you know, the Nitrogang live stream, sometimes we go online, we like to talk about stuff. I debuted this, I took this out of the box, and I even played a little bit of a game with you guys. I took one wheel out at a time. I asked you what model you thought this was from. Some people were on the right track. You did say it was a Redcat, but not a single person got the model itself right. I have the receiver battery pack. I have a servo that I took out of the car. And also, we will talk about an update on my 3-speed Schumacher. You guys see what's going on here? This is a 3-speed baby right there. So all the parts are in baggies right now. This is the restoration process. I'll give you an update on this 70 mile per hour 3-speed Nitro 20-year-old beast. Let's check out the video where I initially took this out of the box. First item. This is a giant wheel. MCD. No, definitely not MCD. HBI Baja Baby. No, so right now we're at Redcat. I'll tell you right now, this is a Redcat wheel. Most of you should probably already know by now if you've you know, been in the gas RC hobby for a long time. Redcat makes a Baja. RC Show Up says Redcat makes a Baja. They do make a 4-wheel drive Baja style chassis called the Dune Runner, but it really is not a Baja. It's still more or less a Rampage, in my opinion. It does look like a Baja though, I will give it that. Jeremy White knows. Well, I bet you would know, my dude. I bet you would. Ah! Oh, I'm struggling over here. Roll the red carpet out for that Redcat. That's pretty funny. I should do that, right? Okay. Redcat, yes, bringing back memories. I know, man. You know, people like to hate on this Redcat gas RC brand, but their chassis are very good. They're 4-wheel drive. You have good suspension. You have okay parts quality, you know. Look at this thick shock tower in the front. You know, what's wrong with that? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. The good thing, this thing is complete. It does need some work. I am not really sure on the condition of the motor. Let me give you an update as I promised on this Schumacher. Yeah, it's all in little parts right now. The motor was completely seized. I had to disassemble everything, put some WD-40 in here, use a hot air gun, and now, check this out. Crankshaft spins nicely, freely, no problems there at all. The carb, I was not able to remove it, unfortunately. I do like to remove the carbs to clean them in the sink and, you know, make sure everything is fine. So the screw here is stripped. I'm just going to let it be and hope for the best. Hopefully there's nothing wrong with it. Notice the plate, the plastic plate that the Nitro motor is sitting on. So this is one of the weird things that Schumacher did years ago. They were using a metal chassis like this. This is sometimes also known as the Desert Storm, but in America this was sold as the XTR-3E, which is the last 2-wheel drive model with this sort of pan chassis from the 1980s that they made. This is a derivative of the Schumacher Cat, which they call the competition all-terrain vehicle. Blah, blah, blah. Either way, weird chassis design. Now this is not aluminum. This is metal, actually, right? Either way, what they did was they bolted the motor to a, it looks like a carbon composite, some kind of plate over here, but it's fairly rigid. I can't simply just bend it like that. Like, I'm applying a good amount of force, right? And there's a giant hole over here, and I cannot bend it. So it seems to be fairly rigid. I know this thing ran for some time, and I do not notice any kind of heat defects anywhere around the plate. So you know what? The Schumacher racing technology might have been weird, but listen, 3-speed 0.21 Thunder Tiger motor baby right here, you know? They are known for, let me show you right here, this purple cooling head. So I remember seeing these, and when I saw a purple cooling head like this like years ago, I already knew it was a Schumacher coming down the road. Of course, I never saw any of them come down the road because they were almost always broken. But man, I saw them in magazines. Let's just call it what it is. Check out one of the funny, weird things about this. I was cleaning this pipe, right? I cleaned each piece individually. This is a super tiny aluminum tuned pipe. It's a good looking pipe, don't get me wrong. But for a .21 size big block motor, this is a very tiny expansion chamber. It might have worked fine, but listen, who knows what if they put on a larger pipe? Maybe once I get this thing running, we'll put on a normal, like a Savage style tuned ribbed pipe onto this, and then we're gonna run it, you know what I'm saying? But for now, this is in the stage that you see it. It's being rebuilt and cleaned at this point. There's still a lot of stuff going on here, but no Nitro will ever die on this channel, guys. Rest assured, that is just not gonna happen. It really doesn't matter what condition they're in. I'm gonna clean them and I'm gonna put them back together. Will it fire up? They're always gonna fire up. Will it be drivable? I sure hope it's drivable. The 3-speed, it's not stripped, but as usual, there's always some kind of surprise when you're working on a vintage Nitro, especially one as rare and complicated as this. When I initially purchased this lot, there was a parts car that came along with this particular one. And I'll tell you now, that one was missing a whole bunch of transmission components, and chances are, this is probably gonna have a problem there too. That's just how these things work. You know, you gotta prepare for the worst, and then basically expect even worse than that. This is the only mention I was really able to find about this chassis here. This is the Rampage TT. It seems to have come with a clear body, which I do think is possible, although this paint job, other than the obvious crack damage, looks to be okay. Yeah, I think I could see like a paint mask line here between this blue and off-white color. So it says 1/5 scale buggy, 26cc gas engine, 4-wheel drive, aluminum chassis and shock, 700cc fuel tank, and a 2.4 gigahertz radio. So pretty much basic Redcat stuff. The 26cc engine, we're gonna check it out right now, see whether it does in fact originally have it. On another website, we have a little bit more information. So this is the Redcat Racing released 2008 4-wheel drive Rampage. Okay, it says originally it came with a 23cc engine. Pretty terrible. So ours must be the newer model. I am pretty devastated about the fact that the body is completely cracked, but you know, this was damaged in shipping. These are old, like terrible PVC style bodies, but I gotta say, for a buggy style, I like it. Mainly the window in the front here. I don't know what it is, man. I love this window. Makes it look really cool. So this has a roll cage style design. You could easily remove this upper roll cage with just the body clips. I am going to remove just the front. We'll see if it comes up yet. So it comes up here. There is just 2 more here in the back. There's a couple screws. I'm not gonna remove the rest of this. This is, you know, we'll do that later. But pretty cool design. You have an easy to remove roll cage design system. I like that, you know, it's pretty good. Typical Rampage style chassis. You have the receiver radio box in the front here. Their basic air filter system. I already noticed the air filter is trash. Let me remove this one element. It is fully disintegrated. You guys see that? So I will have to replace the foams in there. We'll see how that goes. A lot of times people like to use non-Redcat filters, but then stuff just does not fit on the chassis. It's best to just replace the elements here and keep the original setup. Let's check out the pull start, the compression, see what happens. Okay, yeah, we have ourselves some very good compression from this Fuely 26cc. Now, this is kind of like a standing joke on my channel. I always like to read what they say here. And Redcat always makes this mistake. They've been making this mistake for over a decade now. So check this out. Gasoline plus 25% stroke all. So instead of oil, it says OLL. That is actually pretty funny to me. Design in Japan. So they also got the tense of the word design wrong. So I guess it's currently in the design stage, right? Well, then why is the motor here if it's still in design? It should be designed in Japan. These engines, they're so old that they are still using the 2-bolt design. We won't get into the 2-bolt versus 4-bolt discussion. People that know gas RCs, you know what I'm talking about. The main thing that really matters, this sticker right here. So I could see it says HY. So this is a HY style motor, which is common for all Redcats. I've tested their RPM on my Redcat Rampage Rally, and oh my god, they are such low RPM engines, pretty much a disaster. I was only able to get about 13,500 RPM. My plan is to try to restore this motor, see how it runs, because I want to see what the original Redcat experience would have been like. Obviously, it's probably going to be trash, but we just want to know for a fact. And then, I most likely will stick a Zenoa G290 in here, which I do already have. I notice the cutoff switch is stuck, it's recessed. So we're going to have to disassemble this, take a look inside. Obviously, I will have to order a new kill switch. I already learned my lesson. The carb here, I could already see there's a problem on top. So the top of this primer bulb, as I'm pressing it, I already see it's broken, right? So, you know, this thing is just very old. Chances are I'll just replace this carb. I have one already, a Walbro, or maybe even a replica reproduction one. We'll see. Now, okay, one of the most silly things, check out what I'm looking at right now. Do you see this exhaust pipe? So the exhaust goes out the back. This is a canister style pipe. So what they did is, in the bend, they restricted about 50% of the exhaust flow. I don't know who would bend the pipe in this fashion, but this looks original and factory stock. No big deal, you know, I'm still gonna run it. That's not gonna stop me from running it. So far, the only thing I've done is replace the throttle and brake servo. I'm using this Tower Pro replica servo. It doesn't really matter what the brand is. They are all MG996 servos, sometimes 996R. It really doesn't matter. They are digital high torque servos. I've been using this style servo for years, guys, and guess what? You're looking at what used to be a 4-pack of these servos straight from Amazon. I paid $20 for a 4-pack of Metal Gear servos. These are rated at 13 kilograms at 6 volts. It's not as high as like the modern 20 kilograms servos that they sell, but to be honest with you, you do not need a 20 kilogram servo opening and closing like a basic throttle linkage on your carburetor. That is just seriously overkill. Previously, this was the original servo that it had. It's a broken Traxxas servo. I highly recommend you guys pick up these servos. I'll put a link to these in the video description. You know, you get a 4-pack for 20 bucks, and the best thing is, each servo comes with its own mounting hardware. You have no idea how many times I've had to use just, you know, the servo horns that this thing comes with, and even the screws on many of my other RCs. This stuff is just very handy, very useful. Lots of times people overspend on basics like this, but I'll tell you, these servos are highly dependable and very reliable. I've run them for over a decade at this point. Let's take a look at the gears. So we have the gear cover on the side here, which is typical for all the Rampage series cars. I noticed these older ones have Durlin gears. The ones on this car are in very good shape. They're not stripped at all in any way. But this is the identical system that even the modern Rampages have. They have these 4 gears, so we have our clutch here coming from the motor. The clutch output shaft here goes to a couple gears, goes to the sleigh shaft. This goes to your center 4-wheel drive system. There's that main gear. And it is very reliable. You know, I'll be honest with you, it runs okay. They are fairly smooth. I could easily spin them. There's no noises. There is a trick to these things though. If you want a little bit more top speed, you could swap these gears. So these are called A and B. This is the A gear, this is the B gear. You can just swap them like this. They are identical, and then you'll get a different final drive ratio. In my testing, that resulted in about 3 miles per hour from just replacing these gear positions, because one has less teeth and one has more teeth. If you change it, it's essentially the same as putting in a larger pinion or putting in a smaller spur gear. So that's just a little secret for you guys out there that run the Rampage series of cars that have these 4-gear setup systems going on. Other than that, you know, my overall impression of this chassis, I like it, guys. I really, really like it. We're gonna be running this. You know, in fact, I'm noticing it has this pretty cool thick anodized aluminum chassis, which reminds me of the MT series. So the MT is the only truck today that you can still get that has this bent up style chassis design. I like it. You have a lot of protection from, you know, debris hitting your tank. And also when you're jumping, this provides a lot of durability for the chassis. There's a reason why. The HPI Savage is known as the Bash King. Well, usually that's due to the twin vertical plate chassis design, because it's really difficult to bend two vertical plates, you know, that are going like this. It's almost impossible. Bending a flat chassis like this, very easy, but of course you want to have these vertical supports. All right. We're looking at the back of the car right now. I've removed the two shocks and I put them here on the table. And of course, as expected, there's always some kind of shock problem. So this is one of the main problems. Notice the shock body itself has a giant crack in the aluminum portion of the shock body. This is about as bad a thing that could happen to an old RC like this, because getting replacement shocks like this is not easy. But you know what? I thought, hey, listen, maybe the Rampage series shocks are all the same, right? So here I have a couple shocks from the Rally model and also the XT model. Unfortunately, they are completely different shock lengths. Now, I can try to fit the piston from one of the longer pistons into, you know, the other shock body here that's not damaged, right, from the Redcat Rally model. But it will obviously change the ride characteristics, the length of the suspension travel of the stock setup. So that's a problem. I'm gonna see what I can do in terms of figuring out how I could repair this, but this shock body, as it is right now, is completely useless. Even this O-ring at the bottom has popped out, and it does not move up or down at all. It is not usable. I have to somehow figure out a way to use one of these smaller shock bodies, maybe with a different piston, and put it on this Redcat Rampage here. But yeah, once again, one of those unexpected problems that really only comes up when you start disassembling stuff. All right, guys, what do you think of my brand new, and by new I mean 2008, donated Redcat Rampage TT? I almost guarantee you will not see something like this on any other channel. And I will rebuild it, I will restore it, and then we are going to run it. Even the wheels, it looks like it barely had any runtime on it. So, I am happy. Thanks so much, Jeremy White and your family. You guys are there supporting the Nitro and the Gas Gang. And we will take this to the track and challenge any electric with this beast. Till then, see you later. I'm gonna get to work on this.